Good morning or good afternoon. Today we're going to be working on some more Sharon Flake. You probably remember her from for writing So I Ain't No Good Girl. But first, go ahead in your notebook under the classwork section, work independently and silently, and answer this jump start. What is your favorite movie? How would you describe the issue or issues the main character faced? And how would you describe the main character's traits? So go ahead, pause the video, and when you get done, press play. Here's just an example of what your jumpstart can look like. Finding Nemo. A common favorite movie is Finding Nemo and Finding Nemo. Nemo disobeys his father Marlin's instructions and swam out into the open water. Marlin must then go out into the ocean to find Nemo, where he meets Dory, who helps him get through the depths of the sea. Marlin can be described as determined, caring, and persistent. So hang on to this Finding Nemo example. We'll talk a little bit more about the movie throughout this video. Our skills for today are making inferences, character, theme, archetypes, and cross-text connections. And I'm going to read through really quickly how we're going to get there and master those topics. So first we're going to watch the pre-reading video, which is this video. Then we're going to read and annotate Don't Be Disrespecting Me by Sharon Flake. Complete the Archetype graphic organizer. Then read and annotate Not a Boy by Sharon Flake. You're going to write a prequel or an extended ending to the short story. And then you're going to complete a DFQ. So our daily focus question, which you'll be able to answer by the end of this lesson, is how does identifying archetypes while reading impact the reader's investment in the outcome of the story? So again, you'll be able to answer that by the end of this lesson. That will actually be your exit ticket. So we're already familiar with making inferences, character, theme, and cross-text connections. So we're going to learn a little bit more about archetypes today. So, where are we at? Archetypes are, and make sure that you're writing these down in your guided notes. Archetypes are universal patterns recognized in all stories. Archetypes can be applied to images, themes, character types, plot, and or situation. And so these are universal patterns in all stories. That means books, movies, and they can be applied again to images, themes, character type, plot, or situation. So it's important that we talk about this because we identify archetypes all the time subconsciously when we're reading or watching movies. But today we're going to be more intentional about identifying them. And this one right here is important. Archetypes can be applied to themes. A lot of the times we may confuse archetypes with themes, but they are not the same thing. Okay? A theme is more of a central idea, and an archetype will get more into exactly what it is, but it's a universal pattern, not a theme, but it can be applied to the themes. So first, we're going to talk about character types. And again, make sure you're writing these down in your guided notes. A character type is, we're going to be talking about character archetypes. A character archetype is determined by the actions a character makes throughout the course of the plot. So the archetype is determined by the actions a character makes throughout the course of the plot. So the character archetype is not to be mistaken with the character's personality. The character archetype is the actions the character makes. So I'm not going to read through all of these, so you can pause the video and you can make sure you have all these definitions down in your guided notes. The hero, father-son conflict, outcast, these are all types of character archetypes. So you can pause it and move forward as you need to. Here are some more character archetypes. The innocent, the temptress, the mentor. We can see that again in Finding Nemo. Dory was like the mentor. The underdog. Again, these are character archetypes. Make sure you're writing these down in your guided notes. So once you have all those down, we're going to move on to plot or situational archetypes. I'm going to refer to these as situational archetypes. And a situational archetype is defined by the overall plot of the story. So like I said, the situational archetype is not the theme. The theme is the central idea, and the situational archetype is the character's role throughout the story. And as you go through these definitions that are coming up, you'll be able to better understand what I mean when I say character's role. So make sure you have these definitions down. So plot or situational archetypes, like in Moana, the quest, the search for something or someone that will restore peace, normalcy to a troubled land or people. The journey, again, Marlin was on a journey to find Nemo and Finding Nemo. In the fall, these are examples of situational archetypes. So pause it as needed and write down your definitions in your guided notes. Here are some more. The battle between good and evil, like Scar and Mufasa in The Lion King, which is my favorite movie. The rituals, ceremonies that mark the rite of passage into another state. These include sacrificial, initiation, and coming of age rites, like high school graduation. Y'all can see me in my high school graduation here. So make sure you have all these definitions down. And once you are done with that, the next steps will be to read and annotate Don't Be Disrespecting Me by Sharon Flake. And then you're going to complete the Archetype Graphic Organizer. Once you finish with that organizer and reading that short story, you're going to read and annotate Not a Boy, again by Sharon Flake. Write a prequel or extended ending and complete the DFQ. So the first story you're going to read and annotate Don't Be Disrespecting Me. This is the graphic organizer. You're going to identify the character archetype. You're going to write what the relationship was like before the archetype and after. So at the beginning of the story, what was the relationship like? And after, these two boxes are in your own words. Down here is where you add your text evidence. And then you're going to answer down here, what part of the definition of the archetype is the story missing, and what could the author add to make the archetype work? So if you're still confused on that, after you read and annotate the story, if you're still confused on how to complete this graphic organizer, then you can get myself or Mr. Mendoza. But you're going to go ahead and do that, read and annotate the story Don't Be Disrespecting Me, complete the graphic organizer I just showed you. Then you're going to read and annotate Not a Boy by Sharon Flake. And you're going to complete this graphic organizer, which looks exactly the same as the last one. You're going to identify the situational archetype, what the role was at the beginning of the story, what the role was after in your own words, including text evidence in these bottom two boxes. Okay, and then once you finish that, you can see myself or Mr. Mendoza for further instructions on how to complete your prequel or your extended ending for that story. So go ahead and get started. Let us know if you have any questions.